Hello, and welcome to Spud Space Agency here in Kerbol Space Program. So, we've got a little bit of a different one today. We're going to be doing a 50th subscriber special, which is awesome. I never thought that I would get to the point where I had 50 subscribers even. I kind of can't believe that there's 50 of you that saw my insane, incoherent ramblings on this game and thought, oh yeah, I'll watch more of that. But it is awesome, to be honest. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to attempt to send 50 Kerbols to the moon. What I'm doing currently is I'm just building a refueling ship, because I'm going to be using the VTOL that I made to get to the Mun with. But as we did see, if you saw that video, it doesn't have enough fuel of its own accord to get into orbit and then go anywhere further. So I need something to refuel with. Okay, in fact, let's add on a fairing. And can't forget a docking port, because that would render the entire thing pointless. Yeah, I would kind of nullify everything if we forgot the docking port to actually connect and refuel anything with. So, how much fuel does this have? Liquid fuel, we have just about enough. What about oxidizer? We have more than enough, so let's call a little bit of weight. Let's make sure that this thing can remain functional. Cool, and there is our fairing. Make sure to add on some RCS so it can maneuver. Because basically I want to make sure that this thing can move without draining any of its fuel tanks, because that wouldn't be great. Cool, and then that is all the fuel that we will need to refuel with. So now we need something that can get this all the way up into orbit. Go with a Rhino since it's so conveniently sized. We'll go with, 4 vector engines I think works nicely for that stage. And we'll use another engine play and probably just a bunch more vector engines, to be honest. Now, I reckon this thing is probably close, but let's just whack on a couple of side boosters. That way we know it will be all right. Maybe I should start looking at using real-life rockets for inspiration. Kind of interesting to see. Someone who likes space stuff. I don't really know that much, to be honest. So that's more than enough fuel. Let's make sure to add on some Separatrons, because everything goes bad if we don't. I think that should be about right. And we will launch that after we've got the Kerbols in space, so we know what height to aim for with this. And for that, we're going to need 50 Kerbols. So bear with me a moment whilst I hire a bunch of them. Ooh, and the last one, who do we want? Let's go with Dandan. Equally courageous and stupid. Sounds pretty good. There we go, that's 50 Kerbols that we have. Let's get the plane out. So here we have the ship that I believe I showcased. Cool, we've got the original 4 in the cockpit, and there we go. Get ready to launch. Alrighty then, cool. Let's activate the first set of engines, and we'll just get going. Ooh, it's chugging a little bit. I did decide to turn on the scatterer stuff because I like the look of it, but maybe the reduction in frame rate's not worth it. Could also be because I've got 50 Kerbols on this thing, and this is a bit of a ridiculous craft anyway. And we're off. Oh, it helps if you put SAS on. Oops. Frame rate definitely gets better after takeoff, so I'm guessing it is a scatterer thing. Cool. So, as with most space planes like this, we want to build up our speed till the Rapier engines start getting more and more efficient once we break the sound barrier, and then we can start pulling up. I spent so long testing this to get it to work, and it was so bizarre, the fact that initially it didn't have these extra 2 engines on the side. There's something I added later. Sometimes it worked absolutely fine and it flew perfectly and I didn't have any issues, but most of the time it just could not build up enough speed. And I even recorded it and tried to match my takeoff as closely as possible, and it still just wouldn't work. I have no idea why it sometimes, well, most of the time had so much problems, and then sometimes worked flawlessly. And then I just slapped on 2 engines as a last-ditch resort, and it worked without any issues whatsoever. And it was one of those moments when you realise, oh, if I'd have just decided to do that 3 hours ago. But we're now raising our inclination for takeoff, start leaving the atmosphere, and we just want to keep on going up. So I mentioned before that based on the previous design, if you did see the video where I showcased my VTOLs, I've added another couple of engines. I can't remember if I had these aero brakes last time, but they massively help when it comes to getting back down. And then I've also got a vector engine instead of the 4 aero spikes that I used to have, because it just makes more sense, to be honest. It's got way more power than 4 aero spikes, and it weighs the same amount as 4 aero spikes. And I don't need to have the weight of the adapter either. So as we're getting up to 20 kilometers, let's get rid of Kerbol Engineer. Speed's starting to slow down a little bit now, so we can activate those nerve engines just to get a little bit more juice. As we're dropping, let's toggle these. Point up a little bit more now that we're using the rocket engines. Gonna aim for an orbit of around 100 kilometers. I quite like having the wiggle room when it comes to crafts like these that are a little bit crazy. Now that we're definitely getting into space, let's point prograde. And I'm just going to cut the Rapier engines now, so we've still got a little bit of oxidizer left for helping us circularize if we need to. We are going to be fully refueling this ship, so it doesn't matter about using up all of our oxidizer now. We'll still then have enough to use the vector engine to VTOL onto the Mun. There we go. It's just about 100 kilometers. And we're also going a decent amount of speed, so it's not too much to build up for the periapsis to bring it up to an orbit. But that is 50 Kerbols getting into an orbit from a space plane, which is pretty cool. I'm quite pleased with how well this thing works. Cool. Right, well, let's drop down a save. And let's launch up our refueling. So we're aiming for 100 kilometers. Cool, here we are at the launch pad with the refueler rocket. So let's just give it a go. Do not need to ascend that quickly, so let's just turn that down. Ooh, this is... Oh, wow, okay. Auto-strut probably would have been my friend here. I'm also turning over way too quickly. Let's, And let's just go full whack this time. Yeah, that's a lot better. Flip an egg. Let's finish up with those. Tilted a little bit too slow this time. Should be fine. Just gonna turn completely over so we can start building up some speed, because we're going plenty high enough for now. Cool. And let's get circularized. Yeah, definitely should have done it a little bit better and waited for the SSTO to actually be above us, but well, not the end of the world. Should have just enough to sort of match our speed when we get back, and then we can always switch over to the plane and do the rest from there. Cool. Well, that's all of our fuel used up, but we are pretty damn close to it. Oh, it's right there. Awesome. I would love it for it to be the case that our RCS is enough to dock with it. That would be cool. Well, we can get rid of that stage now. And I'm guessing with the size of this thing, the RCS isn't actually going to be enough to move it a meaningful amount, but it's worth a shot. We've got a lot of monopropellant, so... Hey, you know what? That went all right. Cool. Let's control from here. turn off the RCS because that will change all of everything. And tab on over to this. So again, let's control from here. Let's try and I don't think I can really do that like that. I should have set this as a target by now, but oh well. If we just turn around like vaguely towards it, it'll be fine. Just trying to get close enough to have it be selectable as a target. There we go, select as target. Control from here. And we could just have it point at the target. Turns out RCS is pretty handy for sorting out your maneuvers for docking and things in space. Hey! Lovely. I think that was pretty good. Let's walk back around to the light side of the planet. Okay, and now comes the arduous task of transferring all the fuel. I was meant to look for a mod to make this easier, and I completely forgot. Because this is all in different fuel tanks everywhere, there's no particularly easy way to go about this. So they're all the liquid fuel ones, so let's... Oh, so that's all the liquid fuel tanks sorted. Let's sort out all the rocket ones. I think that's all the rocket fuel tanks. I think that's then everything refueled. I think, to be honest, the easiest way to double check is going to be... Oh, I meant to put some lights on it for the landing. I always forget that. I'm getting distracted. Right, let's just undock briefly. And we are almost full on fuel. I don't know what's... Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, well, we learn something new every day, I guess. And let's... How hard is this going to be to try and deorbit? Let's try and deorbit this at least and get it to go crashing down. I guess this has actually still got, like, a lot of liquid fuel left that I could have used. That could come back to bite me, actually. It could have been quite useful to have, you know, a little bit of fuel reserve left in case we accidentally use up too much on the Mun and we want some fuel to dock to. Oops. Oh well. I got excited at the thought of sending a thing crashing down into Kerbin, so... Well, I guess it is time to plot a course for the Mun. Oh, there we go. That will do me. Cool. Well, this is an 11-minute long burn, and I will cut until it's over. Well, there we go. Orbit was a little bit odd, because I probably should have, in hindsight, done it in 2 smaller burns, but we're still getting to the Mun, so that's the main thing. Ooh, are we? Why did that disappear? There we go, right. Let's plot a correction so that we can make sure we've got an alright orbit. Let's aim for about 20 kilometers seems good for the Mun. That will do. You know what? Let's go lower. Let's go 16. Perfect. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of burns around the Mun because I don't want to bring my periapsis too low. But hey ho, things are going pretty well so far, but it's most likely to go all wrong on the landing and take off again. Well, here we are at the Mun. Looks pretty good to me. Perfect. Let's plot another one to get a nice circular orbit. Going around the Mun. All the Kerbols enjoying their field trip. Imagine that though, just like, hey cool, so we're looking for astronauts. All you actually have to do is get on a plane and let our experienced guys fly you to the Mun and back. The guys are basically getting, you know, paid for what some billionaires would, you know, pay, well, billions for. Although I guess they are kind of the test guinea pigs. Well, there we have it. 50 Kerbols in our space plane around the Mun. Well, let's get landed. So I guess we should decide where to land. That crater looks quite good. If I aim for the edge of it, then after slowing down I should be about in the middle. I am a little worried about the amount of fuel I've got left, but I think it'll be fine. Alright, that'll do for now. Cool. So I did install a new mod, which is trajectory showing mod. It's kind of cool. It shows like a sort of an approximation of where you're going to land, so it's a little bit easier to sort of plan stuff out, which is nice. I'll start fully slowing down once we get to the edge of the crater, I guess. Okay, I'm a little paranoid that we're going not quite fast enough slowing down, so... Oh dear, and by a little bit I mean a lot paranoid, so... I think we might have stuffed this. Whoops! No one needed to see 50 Kerbols die. Might try it a little bit differently. Instead of slowing down a little bit, I might just try fully slowing down from up here, because it's the same amount of speed we need to reduce it by anyway, isn't it? So again, I guess if you've not seen this craft before, if you didn't see my VTOL showcase, yeah, this thing, I wanted it to be able to land, you know, vertical takeoff sort of style when it got to the Mun, because normally, you know, you've kind of got to land on your engines and then flip over, and it's a little awkward. So I thought it would be really cool to have one that is properly capable of landing in this manner. So we've got a bay that opens up to reveal an engine which is set perfectly in the... it's sort of perfectly in the center of mass. Plenty of RCS to keep it nice and level whilst it's landing and taking off. Sorry, I'm concentrating as going in for the landing here, but I think we should be alright. Not a little bit too much. And there we go. Decent enough touchdown. Whether we've got enough fuel left, who knows? But there we go. That is 50 Kerbols to the Mun. Exciting times. Cool. Well, I mean, who should be the first out? Looking nice and proud of his landing. Flag going the wrong way as always. But there is a flag. Well, it seems only fitting that we would get some Kerbols out to say hello. So let's get some people out. Whew, well, that took a while, but there we go. That is 50 Kerbols out in the Mun. The frame rate's not too happy with that, but still, that's so cool. Thank you so much, guys. The fact that, you know, how long this took me to get everybody out, so how many of you are watching me, is really awesome. Let's bring them back. I would love to say that I did go through and put everybody back in manually. However, I just loaded a quick save beforehand, because if it took that long to get people out, I knew it would take even longer to get them back in. But as we take Jeb back in, there we go. Now, let's drop down a quick save, and I guess it's now just a hope that we can get back to Kerbin. I'm hoping we've got enough fuel, but I'm not 100% hopeful about that. As we take off, we can point 90 degrees, activate that. We're at 16, we can turn those off, give a little blast of speed with these, just make sure that we're... Pressed the wrong button then, that terrified me that I was completely out of fuel. Well, let's close that bay, bring our landing gear back in. 720, I think that should be okay. So yeah, this wasn't the video that I had planned to put out. I have got another one all recorded and half edited that was going to be my next one, which is a trip over to Ike. However, I couldn't resist filming this and putting this out there, as it's such a huge milestone for me. I never thought it would really get this far. You know, I purely started this because it was a hobby to want to play the game, and Well, because KSP 2 came out, and because I'd not played this that much. I'd put a lot of hours into this, but never done that much with it. I wanted to, actually land on all the planets and do some things in it that I'd not done before. I'd never made a space plane. I'd never made a working VTOL. I'd only ever really been to Minmus and the Mun and maybe Juna. And, it's just been a really cool journey to explore the rest of the game. And I thought it'd be fun to record it, and it has been. I absolutely love it. There's been a fair few times when I've sat down to record or edit and not managed to pull through with it, which is why there's been some, fairly large gaps in the amount of time. But even so, I still love making these, and I'm going to continue filming them. There may be big gaps every now and then, just when I can have the motivation to spend a day recording, because I've not really spoke about it, but it takes me quite a long time. I'm not overly efficient at getting recordings and editing. It takes me like 3 hours to record and maybe another 6 hours to edit or something like that. I am very worried that I'm not going to be able to get back. As long as we can drop down into the atmosphere with the fuel that we have left, we're fine. Might take a while, but oh yeah, we're fine. Cool. Well, we're going to get down into Kerbin. We're going to have to do some aerobraking, so it's going to take a while, but the very least, we will at least get back and we can slow down, even if it does take a while with aero braking. I'd quite like to have just 100 meters a second delta V left for jet engine use. Oh, that wasn't intentional. I forgot I was time warping. Just using up some RCS to get back. Hopefully I've got enough to get to an orbit. Should do. There we go. Well, I guess all that's left to do now is to head back on over. But yeah, where was I? Can't remember exactly what I was saying. But yeah, I am going to keep going with this until I have at least visited everything. This one was a mission that I had pre-planned it quite a lot. I normally don't, though. I normally do go sort of as live as I can in terms of the recording, because I want you guys to get my honest reactions to things that go wrong, because, let's face it, a lot of things go wrong. Before I continue with that, I am just going to... So I've got a drone module in here, which... No, not that one. That one. Which just holds me at an angle for re-entry, so I don't have to constantly keep tilting up. I can just say point prograde and everything should be all right. I did forget that I've got Werner engines on the bottom, so that's going to use all my fuel that I've got left. So that's a shame, but well. What was I saying? I don't remember. I don't like how hot those are getting. The aero brakes really do like to explode, so I am just toggling them on and off. So I'm still getting the use out of them, but they're not overheating too much, hopefully. We are going back up again, because we were going particularly quick. Cool, well, let's go around again. Considering, though, that our apoapsis was out to the Mun, we have slowed it down a nice amount. It's a shame that we're doing this on the dark side, though. Up this just a little bit. Ooh, it was a little bit too late on that. That scared the hell out of me. Couple of aero brakes lost, but we should still be okay. That's all we've lost. We could actually get the refueler back out into orbit, to be honest, because it's not realised that it should have crashed. Okay, so we've definitely got to the point where it's taking a lot longer now. Cool. Our apoapsis is now into kilometres. Being fairly cautious with this, but kind of have to. Oh, that was cool. Big flash of thunder over there. Well, lightning, I guess. Okay, so now the question is, do we try and get to the KSC? I feel like I should give it a go at the very least. So let's bring up my periapsis just a little bit, because then what I can do is aim to get this in a reasonable sort of orbit. I don't think I'm going to get back to the KSC, to be honest. But it would be cool if I can. And at the very least, I want to make sure I'm landing in the daytime. Oh, wait, is that me out of monopropellant? Oh, that is me out of monopropellant. Well, okay, scratch that. Now, what I am going to try for this one is, instead of having aero brakes and tilting upwards, I'm going to go aerodynamic and try and not slow down too much, so that hopefully I can then be slowing down in the lighter side of the planet again. Whether it'll work, I have no idea, but well, I'm certain our apoapsis is going to end up low enough, but I think we are unfortunately going to be landing in the dark side, which is annoying. The worry now is that we're now very low in the atmosphere for how quick that we're going, but we are slowing down. It's just whether we can slow down enough. You know what? There is daybreak, so I'm going to start slamming on these aero brakes. Alrighty. Gonna be a rough landing. Wah! No! That was a crew cabin! Damn it. Oh, I thought we were actually going to be alright then. That was so close. But I am not risking losing any Kerbols. I think I'm going to have to land at the night. Cool. Going in for a second landing attempt. This time I've just gone to slow down as much as possible instead of trying to go around into the daylight. Unfortunately, looks like we're potentially going to be landing in water this time, which makes things a lot easier but a lot less fun. But at this point I don't know how I could get a better encounter with the fuel I have left. I'm sure it's possible, but I think that's what the problem was. I think I forgot to change it to... I think I was still on the pro grade one, which is why it was so wobbly. Oh, I'm an idiot. I think I should have been able to land that fine. But because it was constantly trying to correct to go pro grade instead of just letting me choose, that's why I had so much issue. Well, there we go. Splashdown. Wasn't a super interesting landing, but you know what? No, I'm not happy with that. I'm trying again, trying to go into the sunlight. We know that we can land. I was really confused as to why it felt so like bouncy, but it makes a lot of sense now. Either way, we should get back down to daylight, which is nice. Okay, so the worrying part is that we're speeding up currently. And then I also don't think that there's any land near us. Oh no, there's land starts, I think, there. There we go, we're slowing down now. Oh dear, that's not good. It's not good at all. Oh dear, well, there is no landmass that we can get to, but... Wait, oh no, I think it's just clouds. That's a shame. Oh, over there. Nah, no chance. No chance. Oh well, so close, but that's better than landing in nighttime, you know. Well, as we are splashed back down, that was 50 Kerbols for 50 subscribers. Thank you so much again, everyone, and I hope to see you next time, which will be the one I've already recorded going to Ike. Thank you very much for watching, and bye.